Brandon Swanson was a 19-year-old young man living in Marshall, Minnesota, USA. On the night of May 13 leading into the early morning of May 14, 2008, he attended a party with friends to celebrate the end of his classes at Minnesota West Community and Technical College. After the party ended, Brandon drove his blue Chevy Lumina sedan to head back home. The area around Marshall consists mostly of vast farmland and intersecting rural gravel roads, which can easily disorient drivers at night, especially if they are not deeply familiar with the terrain. At around 2 a.m. on May 14, Brandon's car accidentally ditched into a small incline or ditch on the side of the road, leaving the vehicle stuck. Unable to get the car out on his own, Brandon decided to call his parents, Brian and Annette Swanson, for help. During the phone call, Brandon explained that he was completely uninjured. His car was stuck in a ditch on a rural road. He believed he was near the town of Lind, which was about a 10-mile, 16 kilometers drive from their home. Hearing this, his parents immediately drove out to pick him up. Throughout the drive, the three of them kept a continuous phone conversation going to help locate each other. His parents flashed their high beams and honked the horn, but Brandon reported seeing or hearing absolutely nothing. Instead, Brandon mentioned that he could see the distant city lights of what he believed to be Lind. Frustrated that they could not find each other, Brandon decided to leave his car behind and walk toward the city lights he was seeing. He asked his father to drive over and meet him at a local bar parking lot in Lind. Brandon remained on the phone with his father as he walked across fields and gravel roads in the pitch black. They talked normally for about 47 minutes. However, at approximately 3:10 a.m., everything changed instantly. In the middle of the conversation, Brandon suddenly gasped in panic and exclaimed, "Oh, shit!" Immediately following those words, the line went completely dead. His father screamed Brandon's name repeatedly into the phone, but there was no response. Subsequent calls to Brandon's phone went through to voicemail, but went unanswered. Early that morning, Brandon's family reported him missing to the authorities. Initially, law enforcement treated it as a typical case of a young adult staying out late, but a massive search effort was soon launched as the gravity of the situation became clear. When investigators tracked Brandon's cell phone records and tower pings, they uncovered a startling detail. Brandon was not anywhere near the town of Lind. His phone calls were actually routing through a tower near Taunton, a town located roughly 25 miles, 40 kilometers, away from where he thought he was. Because of this profound geographical disorientation, his parents had been looking in the completely opposite direction on the night of the disappearance. Later that day, police located Brandon's Chevy Lumina abandoned in a ditch near the Lyon and Lincoln County lines. The car sustained no serious damage, and there were no signs of foul play or blood inside. Some of his personal belongings remained in the vehicle, but Brandon and his cell phone were nowhere to be found. Based on the geography of the actual location where his car was found, authorities and search teams developed two primary theories. Theory 1: drowning in the Yellow Medicine River. Near the location where the car was abandoned ran the Yellow Medicine River. On that specific night, the river was high, fast-moving, and extremely cold, near freezing temperatures. Investigators suspect that Brandon's final words, "Oh, shit," might have been the moment he unexpectedly slipped or fell into this river or a flooded field ditch. Police bloodhounds tracked Brandon's scent from his abandoned car, across fields, directly to the banks of this river, where the trail went cold. Despite intensive searches of the river using divers, boats, and advanced equipment, no body, clothing, or phone was ever recovered from the water. If Brandon did not fall into the river, he might have walked deeper into the expansive, featureless farmland. The nighttime temperature had dropped significantly. If he had become wet from walking through marshes or fields, hypothermia could have set in rapidly, leading to disorientation, collapse, and eventual death. In such massive agricultural areas, a body could easily be missed or hidden by shifting terrain and wildlife over time. The disappearance of Brandon Swanson led to a major legislative change in the state of Minnesota. When Brandon first went missing, local police hesitated to launch an immediate full-scale search because he was an adult, over 18 years old. In response to the critical delays they experienced, Brandon's parents heavily advocated for legal reform. In 2009, Minnesota enacted Brandon's Law. This law mandates that law enforcement must immediately accept a missing person report and initiate an investigation without delay, regardless of the individual's age. Nearly 2 decades have passed, and the fate of Brandon Swanson remains one of the most chilling mysteries in modern American history. With no physical evidence, no body, and no operational phone pings ever found since that night, his final words remain frozen in time, a stark reminder of how quickly a familiar drive can take a tragic turn in the dark.